Good morning, everyone. Can you hear us?
Yes, that's right.
Let me just check on it and see that we're really live.
We are on the air. We are online, so you can introduce the new episode, Mark.
Okay.
New episode, Mark.
Or not.
Yes, we are starting in 2 minutes, just to make sure everyone can join us.
Okay, you can. You can put the intro. Play.
It doesn't work today because I have OBS, which doesn't take.
Okay, so we're about to start.
So, welcome to Arbiters-Stream-Episode-16. We have a special guest with us for the Arbiters. I forgot the topic. I forgot the name of the stream. Arbiters in the Spotlight, Tania Karali, International Arbiter all the way from Greece. Welcome, Tania.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Makis. Thank you for
Welcome, Dan.
inviting me.
Nice to meet you, Dan. We really appreciate this invitation.
And greetings from Batumi. I'm still here. World Cadets Championships finished yesterday. And I will soon catch a flight to go back to Athens. But
Very
for
well.
now, I'm enjoying Georgian hospitality.
So we're gonna ask you some questions for today. So first up is about your arbiter's journey, starting from the national arbiter all the way to the international arbiter. So you became a national arbiter in Greece.
Yes, it was December 2010. It was totally random occurrence for me. There was a National Arbiter seminar held. I think it was as a side event of a national youth competition or maybe regional youth competition, I'm not sure. And the previous night I was out with a group of friends. They were talking about this National Arbiter seminar that they would attend the next day. I asked out of sheer curiosity, what is this? Could I join you? Because it sounds interesting. I'm not sure if we lost Makis.
Yeah, I think we lost Makis.
So I asked out of sheer curiosity, what is this kind of seminar? I've never heard about it before. Could I join you? What do we need to join? They said, yeah, it's free. You can come just for fun. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but you can come just for fun. The seminar lasted 3 days. There was an examination at the end. I passed with flying colors. And it was the first step to a long journey that is still, I have a very long way ahead of me, and I'm enjoying every part of it. So at first, they gave us a piece of advice at that national seminar, which I would like also to pass to anyone who might be watching us right now. They said that to be appointed in tournaments, to be invited, people need to know you. Organizers need to know you. Otherwise, how can they invite you to work? Okay. So they said that new arbiters should apply for any tournament, any kind of tournament possible. Don't matter the level, no matter if it's a World Championship, a European Championship, a national level championship. Do not feel that you're not experienced enough. You need to send applications so that organizers will know your name and they will know that you're interested in being an arbiter. Otherwise, if you do not ask to work, how will they know about you? So this is what I started doing. At first, I got very polite answers that for this kind of event, we need someone with more experience. Okay, it makes total sense to me. So at first, I worked at events. I worked at events at my local chess club. Okay, but 3 or 4 months later, I mean, very early after I became an arbiter, we had a national school competition. I had already been declined based on lack of experience. But then one of the arbiters who were appointed to go fell sick 2 days before the competition began. And they were looking for a replacement. And they said, okay, we already have this application. Maybe she's still willing to come and we need someone anyway. So they invited me. And I did a good job. And from that point, I was invited to all national competitions, or at least to most of them, for many years until 2016, when I had made all my norms and passed also a Fide arbiter seminar. I became a Fide arbiter in 2013. And 2016, I had completed all norms to become an international arbiter. So we start with a different level of journey. Hi, Makis.
Yes, I'm back, so we don't know.
Makis, we are around 2016 when I became an international arbiter. I just described the levels of national and Fide arbiter. So 2016, I got my norms and the title. But honestly, to be an international arbiter, at least to my ears, it meant that I could be an arbiter in world events, in European events, that I would be traveling abroad, which was not really happening at the moment. Okay, so I had to make somehow a breakthrough. The first event that I was an arbiter abroad was World Rapid and Blitz Championship in 2017 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, which was a really big experience for me. Strange country, strange continent, very huge tournament, top-level tournament. And I was pairing officer, which brings a lot of responsibility because the pairings needed to be made accurately, first of all, and very quickly, in a very short period of time. But I managed. Next year, I think I went to European Youth in Riga, Latvia. 2019 was a very important year for me. Summer, of course, 2018, I didn't mention the Olympiad. I also went to the 43rd Olympiad in Batumi. 2019 was also a very significant year for me. In 1.5 months, I went to Slovakia, Belarus, Italy, and Spain, just in a period of 1.5 months for 3 events and a workshop. But I was still missing something. I mean, I had started getting invitations to world and European events, but it still required a lot of effort. I still felt like people did not know me, that it was circumstantial, like they were missing someone else. And okay, she's willing to come, why not invite her as a replacement? And I was missing a way to be more known in the chess world. I mean, if people know you, it is their choice if they will invite you or not. Yeah. If they do not know you, it's a problem. They will not invite you because they do not know about you. Okay. If they have worked with you in the past and they are satisfied by your job, you have many chances to be invited again. But if they have not met you before, they have no idea who you are. You're a name on a list, right? Maybe you are very good at what you're doing. Maybe you are very experienced. Maybe you have very good knowledge of the laws of chess, but they still do not know this. Okay, so they need to see it with their own eyes. And as weird as this may sound, the breakthrough for me came during the pandemic. For some people, for most of the people, the pandemic was a horrible period, especially the first months. So much insecurity, quarantine, not knowing what to do, people getting sick all around us. But somehow I managed to get my breakthrough in the chess arbitrary world. ECU is, the European Chess Union is publishing a magazine every month, and there is an Arbiter's Corner. Makis has also contributed to it. So we invite the arbiters. I was not yet in the Arbiters' Council. The members of the Arbiters' Council usually rotate to write articles about it, and they invite everyone who is interested to share some experience, to write an article about the topic. So I had already written 2 articles, one about checkmate positions and one about virtual opponent in tie breaks, Buchholz and Sonneborn-Berger. And I was, since we were in quarantine and I had a lot of time in my hands and I was looking for something to do, I thought, what am I good at? What kind of experience could I share? Maybe I will write an article with hints and tips about Swiss Manager, which, okay, it's a very popular pairing software. I'm quite capable with it. So why not share some hints and tips that could be useful to other arbiters? I open a Word document. I start adding some things. Next day I add something else. Next day I add something else. And one day I think the article was still not published. It was not ready. It was never published, actually. And one day I think, why write just an article with hints and tips and not write a complete manual? It's not like I have something else to do tonight. So I spent nearly 2 months. It was May and June 2020 to write a manual for Swiss Manager, 50 pages manual. And it was exactly what I needed to become known in the chess world, I mean, in an international level, because I had already been in some events and I'm very grateful for this kind of experience, but I was still not at the level that I wished to be. This manual became popular very quickly. Thanks to many colleagues. It was translated into 10 or 11 languages. And after that, still in the pandemic, right? I mean, we speak about summer 2020. After that, I started being invited in online events because chess turned to online. We might be quarantined, but the show must go on. So we turned to online. European Chess Union and Fide started working with Tornello, an online platform. I believe that now it's known to everyone, but back then it was totally new because it's an Australian platform, so Europe had no idea about it. And I was among the lucky arbiters, the very few lucky arbiters who were invited in the first event of ECU in cooperation with Tornello. And one event brought the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it was exactly what I needed to start working with more organizers.
Yeah, it was
You're still here, good. You're still here. Yeah. Because Tornello was still developing from the beginning. I mean, it was not designed as an online chess platform. It was designed as a tournament management platform. So it developed when the situation demanded it, when we needed a platform for tournaments that are supervised by arbiters, because this is what it offered. Tornello adapted very quickly. And they also listened to the recommendations that arbiters and organizers were making. And I wouldn't say month by month, I would say week by week. Tornello was still adapting and evolving. And I was one of the very few lucky people, lucky arbiters, who were able to follow this evolution. And this is why I was invited to so many events, because I was up with the latest updates. I knew how to handle the program.
So it's very important to stick with the newest trends as an arbiter. Always. It is very important for an arbiter to be updated. Maybe it is not about online, maybe it's about over-the-board chess. Okay, regulations for over-the-board chess do not change so often, but they do. Every few years they do change. So arbiters, of course, need to be
up to date with them. Otherwise, they risk taking a wrong decision that is not in the book.
Yes, or like keeping up to date where the events are organized.
Yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
stick with to stay up to date and have the opportunities to continue.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was so very interesting, Clary. And now you are member of the ECU Arbiters Council.
Now I'm secretary of the ECU.
Secretary.
Of the ECU Arbiters Council. I became a member in January 2021.
Yeah.
And it was also the period when the Arbiters Council started hosting seminars for online arbiters. We were giving certificates for arbiters who could work as online arbiters in European events. And I was a lecturer in those. We had 3 seminars, I think, in total. I was one of the lecturers presenting the Tornello platform, which, as I said, I was already quite experienced with. Then we hosted a bit lower level, if I may say it this way, seminars for national arbiters. They were, the seminar was lower level because for the seminar for online arbiters, you were required to be a Fide arbiter or an international arbiter to attend it, which means that a good knowledge of Fide laws of chess was already required. But then we hosted seminars for national arbiters, which also gave them the opportunity to take this knowledge to their federations. So it was a way also to help federations host online tournaments and adapt to the new situations. And it was also the period, January 2021, when Fide published the online regulations, actually the regulations for online chess competitions. Before that, I mean, let's say September, October, November, December, and actually some events, I think they had started in May. We had European Amateur in May 2020 on chess.com.
Yeah, and then they did hybrid youth champion.
This was in September. This was my first event on Tornello. And I think there was also a Nations Cup Championship event in May 2020 or in June. I don't remember exactly. Not sure. Anyway, doesn't matter. There were a few top events, but all this happened before the official regulations were published, which means that we were totally in the dark. There was not right and wrong. We made decisions based on our best intuition and experience. There were no regulations on what to do. And I remember I was a chief arbiter in European Corporate Championship. And I remember an incident which today I would be forced by the regulations to take a different decision. The story is that a grandmaster, he was about to checkmate his opponent with a very simple back rank mate. I mean, anyone could spot it, really, really simple. And just before he makes this move, he gets disconnected. It was not a flag fall. I mean, it was not like he was connected and the flag fell. It was a disconnection. The flag fell because of the disconnection. But it was really so clear that if he had not been disconnected, he would have won this game. I mean, I would have won this game in this position because it was one move, nothing more, one move. And I spoke to the opponent and I awarded the grandmaster the point, which with the current regulations, he would have lost the game because he did not connect back on time. I mean, when he connected back, the flag had already fallen. But
work from the Arbiters Council, I think, during the...
This is a topic for a new episode, I think.
Yeah.
The Arbiters Council in the last few months, years, has done, personally, has done a lot of work.
This was Fide regulations.
Like
Fide, like the structure, like guidelines. ECU has also regulations on online chess, not a complete set of rules, but a set of rules where they differentiate than Fide. It's not on the other side completely. There's no reason to do that. But there are some points where we differentiate in European events. I mean,
it's mainly like seated repetition, I think. Yes?
it's about side cameras. It's about all the need for all events to be supervised. Some articles about fair play, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yes, the Arbiters' Council has been very active in the past years, and I hope that we will be able to continue our good job. We have a new composition now. We have new members, which we will present very soon. And we have been launching the call of interest for arbiters who want to be known, actually, exactly what I was saying before. We have appointed quite a good number of colleagues, not as many as we would like, but now the ratio that we can appoint is 25 of the match arbiters that are invited in each event. 25% are invited out of our call of interest list based on their skills, their experience, the languages they speak, their titles. They get points based on that. As I said earlier, we rotate by writing articles on the ECU magazine. And we will soon set goals for the new term. We also have a website as Arbiters Council, arbiters.europechess.org. It's part of the European Chess Union. And yeah, I think
It's a good team.
I think we're doing quite a good job.
We wish your team all the best.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good members, very experienced members.
Thank you.
And also the president is very good, Mr. Gerd Bellew.
Yeah, our chairman is very active.
We'll start with some difficult questions now.
Okay.
I'll try to fix my sound. Vera says, greetings from Thessaloniki.
Hi, Vera.
So I hope my sound is much better now.
Yes.
So we're going to go and ask you some difficult questions, starting with what is one of the most difficult decisions you had to take as an arbiter so far?
For online chess, definitely what I described earlier, with giving the point to a player that got disconnected. And I'm saying again that with the current regulations, don't do it. It's against the regulations. But back then, we didn't have regulations yet. They were published 3 months later, I think. So what we did, whatever we thought was right at the moment. In over-the-board chess, okay, it's always hard when you have to forfeit players, maybe because they were late, maybe because their mobile rang, maybe because their smartwatch rang, beep beep. Doesn't matter the level, if it's a school tournament or a world championship, it's always very sad to have to do this, and it is always the most difficult decision that you have to take as an arbiter. But,
you mean to go out from the tournament, not to continue the tournament?
For the round.
Only for the round.
Yeah.
But it depends on the schedule of the tournament.
No, I mean, if someone is late for the tournament, let's say they have 15 minutes to arrive and they arrive 17 minutes later, they cannot continue for the round, they cannot play, they play the next round.
About the tolerance, so there are zero tolerance or some minutes tolerance?
Correct.
Yes.
This depends on the regulations.
That's right.
If you find...
Even if the opponent tells you, let's let him play, come on.
Okay, this this is another difficult topic. I think that the arbiter, and this is my personal view, other international arbiters may have different opinions. I think that the decision that the arbiter makes should be his own, not his or her own, not dependent on what the opponent says. The opponent will say, yeah, maybe the opponent wants to play. But what happens if the player who was late wins the game? Okay. The opponent has every right to appeal your decision of letting him play, even if he agreed to that, even if he was the one trying to persuade you to let the opponent play. Okay, to let the player who was late play. I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm not saying that the opponent will appeal your decision in any case, but he has the right to do so. Whenever you do not follow the regulations, to every small point, a player has the right to appeal your decision. They can appeal your decision even if it is correct and according to the regulations. But then you have a very big advantage because you can just show the book, you can just show the handbook, and the appeals committee just rejects the appeal. It's very simple. But there are cases that are very clear. For example, if you find a player with a mobile, let's say that they forgot about it. Let's say that it is turned off. Let's say that you have every kind of sign that they never used it, that it was inside their pocket. They just forgot about it because they just came from work. And the opponent says, yeah, let him play. It's not a problem. I don't have a problem with this. Let him play. Oh, no, you can't do it. It's sad. It's sad that this occurs.
According to the regulation, are not allowed all electronic devices in the venue, not the playing hall.
Yeah.
And many arbiters
on themselves,
yes.
Yeah, correct.
Are not allowed in the venue. We have to mention that, not in the playing hall. Yes.
Yeah, correct. And in top-level tournaments, there are lockers outside of the playing area, where players can leave their mobile because maybe their hotel is far away and they need their mobile close. They can leave it in the locker, no problem. Okay, but yes, they're not allowed to bring it inside with them. Otherwise, the penalty is very clear, very sad, but very clear. And in my opinion, this is why chief arbiter needs to announce about mobiles at the beginning of the round, just as a reminder. Like, if by any chance you forgot to give your mobile, right now is the time to do it. Get rid of it.
Yes. Very good experience. Also, I had an experience last summer with a forward player without to inform the arbiters or the organizer of the competition. And his opponent made an objection because it has to do with the tie breaks with the forfeit result. Make an objection to the opponent, not to the arbiters. This is not an arbiter's fault. And it's not, I think, to arbiters to go to the federation for other penalties, not for arbiters. It's not like an arbiter's decision. Let's say we play together as opponent, Mark, and you didn't come, and you lost the game without playing, and you changed my tie breaks. This.
Correct.
Yes, we have this in the Cyprus Club.
I had an experience last summer. This 2 months ago.
We had this where one player did not come to the game, and due to this,
without to inform the arbiters.
Yes, and the other player paid a hotel.
Not that he was late, not something like that. Without informing the competition. Yes.
We have this. Yeah. Another question: do you detect different decisions whether it's a school chess tournament or if it's a top board, or is it the same rule for everybody?
This is also a very good question, and there was an article on the ECU magazine by Irina Prokopova recently. I think the title is a handbook to rule them all. like Lord of the Rings, a ring to rule them all. There was the article debated whether there should be different regulations established for each level of competition or for scholar events. But right now the regulations are same for everyone. And yes, of course, it is sad when you need to punish young players who are playing in school competitions, but also maybe it is a way to educate them, to make them have more control over themselves. The most common incident that we have is touch move rule. So if you touch a piece, you have to make a move with it, or if you touch a piece of your opponent, you need to capture it.
Yes.
Children sometimes are very impatient. They just put their hand on the board, they play a little bit piano with the pieces, and then they decide which is the best one to move. Or maybe they make a move, before they press the clock, they change their mind, or they see that they have a better move, they take it back, so they try to play something else. But this is a very bad habit, very wrong attitude. So yeah, you need to impose a penalty. I don't like the word punishment for this age, but you need to impose a penalty. Of course, what makes a world of a difference here is how you will explain it to the child. If you go raging, what is this? What did you do? You should have known better. Now I will punish you. Now you will see what will happen to you. I will add 2 minutes to your opponent because you made an illegal move. The child will start crying, of course. So you need to explain it in a normal voice, like it's an ordinary event, because it is an ordinary incident. It is something that happens every day. It's not the end of the world. The game can't continue after this. The child can come over it, okay? And so you just explain in a soft voice that, okay, this is not allowed. You know the regulations. You knew the regulations before you came here. The piece that you touch, you need to make a move with it. So you touch this piece. I think you agree that you need to make a move with this. Yeah. So all the regulations that apply in top level tournaments, yeah, they also apply in scholar competitions, as weird as this may sound.
Another strange question I have is who are usually more opposing to arbiter decisions, the children or adults?
Adults, of course. They
But
know
the
everything.
parents.
They know everything. No, it's not only the parents. I mean players, top level players. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm joking a little
And
bit here.
title players also.
I'm joking a little bit here, but yes, adults are. I mean, children will listen to you. They are you are the authority in their eyes, which also means that you cannot abuse your power. As I said before, you need to speak to them in a soft voice, like nothing major is going on. Okay, maybe if you lose the game, half of the players inside the playing hall will lose their game today. I mean, one will win, the other will lose. So half of the players inside the playing hall will lose the game. What to do? With adults, it's not the same, because with most of them, if they're at the same age of you, if they are older than you, sometimes they may not see you like so much of an authority. And this is a quality that the arbiter can gain with their experience, how to impose their decisions without shouting, without making a scene, without provoking the player. Because if the player, if there is an incident, okay, let's say a player's mobile rings, or a player makes an illegal move, or a flag falls, or whatever you can imagine, of course the player will be upset. He will not be in a good state to just discuss calmly. Okay, you just lost the game, or maybe something bad happened. This is why the arbiter is involved to solve the situation. So you need to find a way to not provoke them anymore. They are already agitated. You need to find a way to soften them down, to speak with a normal voice, to say, yes, sir, but you know the regulations, it's very clear. This is what we need to follow. And if you go by the book, they have no other choice than to accept your decision. But if you start saying, okay, yes, I understand that it was not your fault, maybe, okay, yes, maybe you forgot your mobile, I understand that you just came from work, okay, maybe I will not give you a penalty, maybe I will not forfeit you in the game, etc., etc. This is where trouble starts, because this is where the opponent will start complaining, and he will be right.
The thing is, we need
totally
to
right
be consistent.
protests.
You need to be
Yes,
consistent,
of course,
and
of course. Which also means that we need to be very, very well, as we said before, updated with the regulations, and we need to have very, very good knowledge of the regulations.
yeah,
One piece of advice that I would give to new arbiters or to less experienced arbiters is to attend as many seminars as they can. I would say at least one seminar per year. Not because the regulations change so often. No, you don't expect that. But the, seminars are a place where you can share experience. I mean, of course, you will get a refreshment of the regulations, but also you will hear incidents from other people who are attending or from the lecturer. You will hear incidents that have happened. You will try to see how you would have reacted in that situation. And of course, you will hear the lecturer offering their point of view based on their experience. And there are many cases where international arbiters might take different decisions. There are ambiguous cases where there could be different decisions. This is why we need to share experience.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is the most important. This I want to add here. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
not only the refreshment, but also the sharing of the experience. That's right.
Yes.
Also, arbiters should not rush into a decision making very fast. Like when something happens, we should not rush with our decision. It's better to take time, listening to both sides.
Of course, always listening to both sides. Always.
Because few days ago this happened. Two players were playing. One player claims the other player does a touch move. The player was informed that touch move, so whatever you touch you have to play. So the player just got angry, put the pieces down, goes like, okay, if I have to play the move, I will resign. So the player resigned. At the end of the round, the player comes back and says, but I did the touch move a move ago. Yes.
Okay.
And why was I forced to touch the piece? And I responded, but you never told me that. Yeah. All I said was, if you touch the piece, you have to play it. We never got to what you touched. You just resigned.
Yeah.
Yes, and it got a bit very heated. The player was very heated, and yeah.
And you know, apart from being exactly the right thing to do, that you need to hear to both sides of the story, to both players. Apart from being the right thing to do, it is also a way to calm the players who are upset. Could be very young players, could be adults, but just the fact that they feel they're being listened to, that you are paying attention, that you want to hear their side of the story, and that you're really interested in realizing what exactly happened. Of course, the best situation is if you're present, right?
Yes, so, it was like
so an arbiter who is attentive of their games, they don't get in such situations very often. But sometimes you may have 10 boards to take care of, 15 boards to attend. Maybe you have time pressure on one board and you cannot supervise everything at the same time and no assistant is around.
Or it's too fast.
Okay? Yeah, or maybe exactly you have rapid or bleed events. So, okay, let's say that something happens, not in your presence. Both players are upset and agitated. It calms them down. if you listen to them carefully, if you show that you're interested, that you want to hear both sides of the story, okay? Apart from being the only way to take a fair decision, it is also a way to make them feel a little bit more upset.
And also gain
and
a
to be able
true
to continue the
image
game.
of the position, of what occurred. Because you
Yeah.
might have been told something in a way that you misunderstood, that leads to a wrong decision which you cannot fix at a later stage.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
Correct.
we'll continue. We're going to touch a very hot subject. Fair play. We were one of the fair play arbiters at the 44th Chess Olympiad Chennai.
Yeah, we had a team of fair play experts, not arbiters, because also people who are not international arbiters were involved. We had lawyers, we had grandmasters, because we needed analysis in the games. And our main duty, okay, first of all, in the Olympiad, you have players, you have team captains, you have heads of delegations, you have media, you have a lot of people who enter the playing hall, really a lot of people. You have spectators, okay, I mean, spectators stay at a different side of the playing hall, they are isolated from the players, but they still enter. So all these people, in order to be allowed entrance, they need to be accredited. They need to have a badge. I can show you my badge from this event, World Cadets. So yeah, they get badges like this with the title of the event, their names, what they're doing there, if they're players or coaches or media or anything. And depending on who they are and what they're doing there, they are allowed entrance at specific times or not allowed entrance at specific areas of the venue. So, for example, of course, you allow players to enter, but you do not allow them to exit if their game is not finished. Same goes with captains. They're not allowed to exit if the team is not finished, because if they exit, they're not allowed back entrance after the games have started. Also, media, they were invited several minutes before the game started. They could take pictures, okay, very nice, maybe some short interviews with players. But shortly after the game started, media was asked to leave, because otherwise they are disturbing for the players. They're distracting. Imagine having someone click all the time. However, there were accredited media, official photographers, who had permission to stay inside. So they should have a different badge, which shows that they do have permission to stay inside. Also, you have head of delegations, because let's say a federation like the Greek Federation has the team in the open and their captain, has team women team and their captain. They also have a head of delegation, and because the General Assembly takes place during the Olympiad, there is also the representative, the delegate of the federation to the General Assembly. Could be the same person as the head of delegation, could be somebody completely different. So they should also be allowed in the playing venue in a restricted way to see their team, because they have traveled a very long way. They need to be able to observe the conditions under which their team is competing. So our job was mainly this, to make sure that everyone who entered the playing hall were accredited, that they had permission to enter. Also that they were not carrying any mobile devices, smartwatches, tablets, laptops. You can imagine the list, how it goes. And we used metal detector frames like you have at the airports. So everyone who would like to enter the playing hall went through these frames. And we were also using hand metal detectors for everyone who beeped at the frame. And we also use these handheld metal detectors for a random scanning of players during the games.
Yes.
We're also observing toilet area, refreshment area to make sure, smoking area to make sure the players were not in contact with anyone. Captains were allowed to speak for a very short period of time, for a few minutes, because, okay, I mean, the captains are not actively involved, at least in this Olympiad. The rule was that the captain only has administrative role. They gave I mean, depending on the event, if they're coaching the players on when they're not in the play hall, it's a different story. Okay, like Ivan Sokolov was coaching the team of Uzbekistan who won the Olympiad, but this is a different story. As far as the Olympiad itself is concerned, Ivan Sokolov was not allowed to tell the players of a draw or suggest a draw, to offer a draw to your opponent or accept a draw. Okay, he was not able to consult with the players during the game or to offer any kind of advice. What he did, he was signing the protocol and the result of the game. That's it. So actually the captains did not have contact with the players. They were not speaking, they were not talking. But similarly, they were not allowed to bring mobile devices, like nobody was allowed. Yeah, I think these
Yeah, it was
were
a
our
boring.
main duties.
It was boring during the games, having nothing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. Every day we were selecting people to be scanned a little bit more thoroughly. Thankfully, we didn't catch anyone. Yes. I mean, we didn't have any signs of foul play. And yeah, also spectators were guided to a different place of the play hall, to special seats isolated from players, and you needed to make sure they also didn't carry any electronic devices. Yeah.
So here, one of the big questions is, the games are checked by the screening tool, yes? All games.
Yes, by Fide screening tool,
Yes,
developed by Professor Kenneth Regan.
but this is not the, it's not the way where they go like, okay, this is just to suggest for more checks, yes? So let's say the statistics.
Professor Regan has two levels of checking. One is the first scanning, where he spots cases, games, players who need a little bit more thorough search. This doesn't mean that that they are guilty, that they are cheating. It just means that you need to take a closer look to them. Many times when he performs the second scan, it is inconclusive, or it shows no signs of cheating. It has happened many times. So when he tells you that this player should be checked a little bit further, it does not mean automatically that the player is cheating. It means exactly that. You need to be a little bit more careful.
So arbiters rely on statistical evidence just to know which players to control even more.
Yes, but arbiters also rely on their eyes.
Yes,
first
of course, the eyes.
Yes. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't need to have a fair play team, right? You just have an algorithm. So you need to combine. Also, Kenneth Regan sometimes says, if you do not have any other signs from the player, like often visits to the toilet, or if you have scanned him for electronic devices, if you do not have any other signs, then feel free to ignore the specific analysis that I sent you. There are some cases where he says that. So the job is actually a combination of factors: arbiter's eyes and intuition, because you develop an intuition out of this, statistics, and also you need grandmasters to check games. This is why our team also had grandmasters.
Yes. So I think this comes to our next topic.
Is there any question from the audience, Mark?
No. So far, there's no questions. There was only a question where the name of the magazine, which I already replied to, and where you can find the Swiss Manager Users Guide, which I also sent the links to.
Yes.
Okay, so I think it would be good here to look at some procedures regarding fair play, since it's a huge topic currently, and also distinction between online and over the board. I think Tania is not with us.
Yes, it's disconnected.
So let's ask our chat, do we have any more questions? Now
Yes, is there a question?
My sound is now better.
Yes, this was a question. Also, if the audience wants to do any question to Tania, not only to here to our episode to me and you, but
yeah, for Tania, yes.
Yes. So we'll be waiting until Tania to be connected again. Something like a break, let's say, but we'll be waiting.
Tania is back with us.
Yes, now Tania is back.
Sorry. Many apologies.
No problem.
It is,
No problem,
it is
Tania.
12 o'clock here. It is 12 o'clock here, and Wi-Fi hotel connection just ended for me. I turned my mobile to a hotspot to come back. Sorry, I didn't even think of that.
It can happen. So I think we will quickly go through some fair play procedures, I think.
Okay.
Your experience is so important, so I don't want to interrupt you, Tania. So all these words is very useful for the arbiters.
Yes, also distinguishing between online and over the board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so online is totally different thing. I mean, okay, we said about relying on your eyes, but there you rely on cameras, not on your eyes. You have, usually players are supervised by two cameras, a front camera and a side camera, to show a little bit the room, to show their desk surface, to show they do not have electronic devices around them. You pay attention to their movements to see if there are repeated movements, like if I'm playing, here is the board, okay, if I start doing like this, something might be wrong or fishy.
Like
here.
Me right now, always moving to the left.
Are you cheating, Mark?
No, I have another screen I'm looking at all the
time. Players are sharing the screen to allow the arbiters to see what kind of programs are running. Sometimes we also ask them to show their task manager and to keep it on top during their game. And of course, statistical analysis plays a much more important role here.
Yeah.
And we have double statistical analysis because we not only have from Professor Regan, but also from the online platform that the players are using. Most online platforms offer their own statistical, I think all of them offer their own statistical analysis. So you have an extra tool to base on.
Also, like online is different to over the board, because online it's anonymous. You don't when it's not
anonymous
official.
anonymous events are not official, so they're not supervised by arbiters. I mean, we speak about official competitions,
Okay, I was
where
just
you do
meaning
need
that
a
online
team of arbiters to know who is who.
if it's not official, the players can do whatever they want. It might damage reputation. It might damage your reputation, but it doesn't mean what you do online.
Okay, let's take another example, because to damage a reputation, you need to already have a reputation. Let's take an example of the kids.
Yes, one kid. Let's say
who were raised in chess during the pandemic. Okay, so they start playing online, just online, for 2 years. I mean, now over-the-board events are organized again with precautions, of course, but in 2022, over-the-board events are being organized again. But until last year, it was quite rare. Okay, it was a difficult task to organize an over-the-board event and to ensure the safety of all people who would be involved, all the players, the accompanying people, the arbiters, technical staff, whatever. So you had many online events. And
not only events again, but also the trainings about the the children.
Yeah.
And trainings on their clubs were also online. Yes.
Correct. And you also have the random games, the anonymous games, like Mark said, the tournaments that are not supervised by arbiters. So you have a whole series of events where a kid that was initiated in the chess world during the pandemic, they could take part. Okay. It takes a great skill from the coach or the parent or the teacher or whoever. It takes a great skill to make sure that the kids do not see chess as a video game. Okay. And when I'm saying video game, yes, of course, it's something that I play on my laptop or on my mobile if it's not supervised by arbiters. Like I play other games. Okay. But when I play games on my laptop or my mobile, cheats are very often how you can cheat to get more XPs, more lives, more money, more coins. Okay.
And some games even encourage it.
Yeah. Maybe you're not competing against others, so this is totally up to you. Maybe you're just a solo player. So it is up to you if you want a challenge or if you want to cheat to make your life a little bit easier or to play the game from a different perspective. Okay, fine. But when you have such a variety of cheats and of websites analyzing online games, I'm not speaking about chess, analyzing games that are being played on a laptop, etc. So when you have websites offering cheats for games, how do you expect a kid to make the distinction if they're very young, if they have never played over-the-board chess, if they have never seen an actual opponent? I mean, what I noticed during the pandemic with online chess is that we had many forfeits by kids who just didn't show up for the game. I believe this was because they didn't really realize that the opponent was there, that the opponent was an actual person, first of all, waiting for them to play. Like they would have arrived at an actual board.
Or they would get bored.
Maybe. Yeah. Like when you have an over-the-board tournament, you know that your opponent made a distance to come there. Maybe they woke up early. They came there to meet you and play a game with you. If it is online and you do not have actual contact with the opponent, and if you have never been in an over-the-board tournament, it's quite challenging for the child to realize all of this. And it takes a lot of talent for the coach or the trainer to explain all this to the child. You know.
Yes, I agree with you there. It's a complete different thing online.
Yeah. And also the role of the arbiter is different. in online chess, because the chess stuff, the chess rules, like default repetitions, illegal moves, these are taken care of by the platform. Okay, the arbiter does not deal with this. There's no way to make an illegal move on online chess. There's no way to deal with touch move. Okay, you can touch a move, you can pick, let's say, pick a piece and just not make a move with it, just make a move with something else. This is part of the game, it's not a problem. So it's not the job of the arbiter to supervise this. The job of the arbiter is, first of all, to help the players from a technical point of view, to help them connect, to connect to the video conference system. We use Zoom in 90% of the time, if not 99%. And then you have the fair play supervision.
Yes, I think fair play is mainly a deterrent. You want to deter the problem.
You want to make a safe environment for everyone to play chess and enjoy their games without the fear that oh, my opponent is cheating. So exactly, you want to prevent cheating. You want to not allow, if someone came today, if someone woke up today with the intention of cheating in an online event, you want to create such an environment that it would be really, 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 really difficult for them to accomplish it, so that all the other players can play relaxed
and trusting environment.
Exactly, in a trusting environment. Exactly.
Yeah, I think you nailed the point there, where that online chess is seen as a game and not as an e-sport. So once we can enforce the vision that chess is actually an e-sport when it comes to online official games, not when I go to play for fun, when I go to compete against other players, that it becomes an e-sport where using any kind of unfair means is damaging. Like, it's not, I'm playing a video game against myself on the computer, where who cares about it? So
exactly, if you play by yourself against the computer, even if you play chess against the computer, feel free to use another computer to help you. I mean, you're only damaging yourself. But if you're playing against an actual opponent, you're damaging your opponent.
it becomes an e-sport. It becomes like a competitive thing where, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, we have procedures which are not very well known in events, fair play procedures.
They're quite similar with over the board. I mean, all the games are being scanned after the end of the round. We have grandmasters analyzing selected games if needed. As I said before, we have an additional tool, the fair play algorithm of the playing zone.
And you complain to your arbiter. Yes.
You mean, okay, yes. So you mean if I am a player?
Yes, if you are a player, you complain to...
I want to make a complaint. Yeah. Okay, so the procedure for this is that I have to make my complaint official.
To the arbiter, yes.
I need to take a piece of paper. There is a very special form for this, and to put my signature there, my name, my Fide ID, to be held accountable for what I'm about to state about my opponent. Otherwise, you go to the other side and you go to witch hunting, which can be as damaging as cheating can be. So arbiters are instructed to not consider unofficial complaints. I cannot go to one of you because you're my friends, and I cannot say, oh, this guy is cheating. I mean, I'm so horrified that he's doing it, but I know it for a fact. No, I have to sign the official form, and then you have the duty to check my complaint. But if I do not do it, your duty is to give me a remark, to give me a warning that I'm not allowed to spread rumors, because this is exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, let's. Do we have any other questions?
I have a question, but in the end, not now.
I think we're coming close to the end because we are over the hour.
Yes.
Do you want to ask your question?
Yes, I have a question to Tania. The main difference between the chess player and the chess arbiter is that the chess player predicts the next moves. The arbiter predicts the previous. How many moves can you predict back, Tania, as an arbiter, when you have a claim on the chessboard and you have to find out the solution and to take a decision?
I just go to another chessboard and I go through over the whole game. I don't try to predict moves backwards from score sheets or something. If I understood the question
this has
properly.
to do with an illegal move, and yes, the defender, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do. Not only in a
illegal move
tournament.
or a threefold repetition, for example.
Yes, also if you don't like have on a live game, yes, or to take the score sheets, yes.
No, even in live games, I mean, your official document is always the score sheet. So the best thing you can do is to stop the clock, take both players, go to another board and have them go through the game in front of you. The players have to play the moves on the new board, not you. They are the ones who just play the game. They were the ones who can read their score sheets. although you should be able to read it too, but sometimes gets a little bit tricky. Anyway, the players will go through the game a lot faster than if you do it by yourself. And this is the only way to know 100% what really happened in the game. If you just check the score sheet, you might miss something.
Yes, otherwise it's the right of the defender. No, I didn't do that. And you have to you have to find out
otherwise
the solution.
It's 50-50 to take the right
Especially
decision.
in an illegal move. You have to something like an investigation and to find out where was the wrong and the illegal move.
Sometimes in smaller events, in youth events, maybe they miss the move.
Especially
it happens.
But in adults,
maybe
the rapid
wrote,
blitz game also in adults. Yes. Excuse me.
Yeah. Or maybe they read the wrong squares because they're young kids. They don't know notation very well yet. So yes, it could be quite complicated to find the correct series of moves and the correct position that has resulted.
I'm going to ask two questions, which we got.
Tania, thank you.
We have two questions. You're a new arbiter at a tournament. You are faced with a very difficult decision to take. You don't know what to do. Do you ask the players to wait and get the arbiter's manual and have a look? Or do you just decide something that you think is most probably right and let them continue the game?
You should know the arbiter's manual by heart.
Let's say you don't. You're not 100% sure.
Okay.
By heart, by the book, yes, that's right.
First of all, if you are in a big tournament and you are the match arbiter, the right thing to do, if you do not remember exactly how to react in the situation, the right thing to do is to call your supervisor. Could be the sector arbiter, could be the deputy chief, could be the chief arbiter. Whoever you find closer, you need to ask them for their guidance and assistance, because this is exactly the role there. Okay, I'm not saying that for every little decision you need to make, or that in clear cases, for example, illegal moves, that you need to ask them every time. I'm just saying that you need to refer to them whenever you are in doubt. Okay. Otherwise, if let's say if you are a chief arbiter in a tournament and there is nobody else there to help you, you need to play by the rules. Okay. It could get a little bit complicated because the players are waiting a decision from you. So you don't really have the time to go through the arbiter's manual, to find the right chapter, to find the right page. This is why you need to have good knowledge of the laws of chess. The good thing on this, in that in any arbiter seminar, they go through the main parts. They go through the usual cases that you will face as an arbiter. So if you attend arbiter seminars, as we said, as we mentioned earlier, that we need to attend often, chances are that you have already heard about what to do in this situation that you're facing.
And in the worst case scenario, you take a wrong decision.
Okay, the player can always appeal. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Maybe there will be an appeal, and the appeals committee will overrule your decision. It's not the end of the world. It can happen. But the thing is that your decision is justified. Maybe it is based on the laws of chess. Maybe it is based on your experience. The thing is to never make a decision that you know that you are absolutely certain that it is wrong. And what does wrong mean? That it opposes to the laws of chess. Okay, if you knowingly make a decision that opposes to the laws of chess, you should expect some kind of penalty for you.
I think this was it with the questions we have.
You mentioned 2 questions.
Yeah, those are 2 questions. Okay. One, if you did make a mistake, and the one with what to do if you're not 100% sure about the decision.
Yeah, if you make a mistake, the player who is offended by the mistake, let's say, can always appeal.
We have here a question by Alexander. How many arbiters' mistakes do you know about during the Olympiad? And why it happened?
What time is it? What time is it in your country? I have a flight to catch.
Okay then.
Yes, no have 40 minutes about.
No, I don't imply anything by this. The level of the arbiters in the Olympiads is very high because it's a very high profile event. But with such number of players and with such number of federations coming together, cultures coming together, you can expect some inaccuracies, let's say it this way. You can expect that things are not done everywhere in a similar way. Okay. So yeah, you can expect some strange and awkward situations.
One of our players who came back from the World Youth, not from the cadets, which took place in Batum, Romania, said that one of the arbiters took a wrong decision about a 3-4 repetition. And I told the player that, not me, we were speaking with the coach, and I said to the coach, maybe he should just, if you're pretty sure that the arbiter has taken a wrong decision, you should keep insisting until the chief arbiter comes. So that
so we have given many pieces of advice to arbiters. Let's give a piece of advice to young players. If you feel that the arbiter's decision is not correct, insist on it. Okay, call the arbiter supervisor. Call the sector arbiter. You have the right to do it. This is their job. This is why they're there. You have the right to call them.
Go all the way to the chief arbiter.
Your situation. Yeah, exactly. You have the right. And you also have the right to appeal their decision when the game is over. Yeah, of course, there is a fee for the appeal. Okay, for world events, it's 200 euros. But the fee, first of all, if the appeal is justified, it will be returned to you. Okay, the fee is there just for one reason, because every appeal is like it interrupts the flow of the tournament because it needs to be examined and maybe the result will change based on the decision of the appeals committee. And until this decision is made, the event cannot proceed with the pairings of the next round. Okay, so there you have a break, you have a pause. And this is not a good thing to happen. So if there was no fee for the appeal, anyone would appeal any kind of thing. I mean, at 5 o'clock, there was a kind of small noise. I was distracted. This is why I lost the game. or at 7 o'clock, the water bottles were not there, so I lost some time going back and forth, and this is why I lost my game. Everyone would appeal in very small, minor things for nothing. Appeals that otherwise would not be justified. This is why the fee for the appeal is there. But if you think that your claim is valid, let's say also that in world events, there is a head of delegation for each delegation.
Yes.
This is the role there to represent the delegation. They have the right to represent you and to make the appeal for you, because if you are a 14-year-old player, you probably do not know how to make the appeal, how to write a text that presents what you, where you feel you have been wronged. This is why the head of delegation is there. So there are a number of people who can help you in case the arbiter makes a wrong decision. Okay, it's not the end of the world that the arbiter made a wrong decision. It can be corrected. And also, it's not the end of the world for the arbiters themselves.
Yes,
Okay?
I think
we're human. We will make wrong decisions. This is how we gain experience, of course.
Many times it's also due to misunderstanding.
Yeah. Could also
Simply
be a
you don't
language
understand
barrier.
what the
Language
player
barrier.
wants.
Yeah, in world events, language barrier is an actual thing. Yeah, especially in youth and cadets, of course.
Okay, then, because you're, we are over the time and you have a flight to catch.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much for
Thank you,
joining
Tania.
us.
Oh,
For
thank
all
you
the
for inviting
discussion.
me. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks
And,
for watching, for the support and all these very important things and knowledge and experience of a very well-known and great arbiter like Tania.
Yep. So we wish you a good flight and
Yes.
good evening,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And good luck with the series that
Thank
you're
you very
doing.
much.
Good luck in your
Thank you,
next
Tania.
episodes.
Our pleasure. We